"Are you the king of the Jews?" asked Pilate. "You have said so," Jesus replied. The chief priests accused him of many things. So again Pilate asked him, "Aren't you going to answer? See how many things that they are accusing you of?" But Jesus still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed. Pontius Pilate is known secularly as a cruel man, as a corrupt person, and an oppressor. He habitually insulted the Jewish people in Jerusalem, bringing pagan images. There were other Roman authorities that they were mindful about the commandment that says you will not make images of anything. And they wouldn't bring any of those images into Jerusalem, especially because it's the holy city. But Pontius Pilate didn't have any problems. He brought statues, he brought insignias with images of all kinds, and that was really an abomination for the Jewish people. Unfortunately, today we have lowered our standards, that we allow so many images of so many kinds, even inside our temples. We allow them in our Bibles, in our Sunday schools and Bible studies. We should be mindful about the scripture that says you should not make any kind of images. And of course, the worst thing it would be to worship them, worship these images. But that's how Pontius Pilate offended, insulted the Jewish people. In Luke 13:1, tells us that there were some men from Galilee that they were killed by Pilate's orders. The problem is that it happened probably inside the temple and most likely at the time of the sacrifice. We have some documents that say that a group of Samaritan men presented charges against Pontius Pilate before the Roman emperor because Pilate executed prisoners without a fair trial. Many times the people that he ordered to be executed hadn't been condemned to death, but Pilate still ordered their deaths. That is the reason why the Jewish leaders were very confident that Pilate was going to condemn Jesus to death. We're going to read Mark 15:15. Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified. The scripture is very clear about who Barabbas was. He was a murderer. He was an insurrectionist. He was a rebel. Do you think that Pilate thought of Jesus and Barabbas as insurrectionists? I think Pilate realized that the people, the supposed witnesses, were just liars, the ones that testified against Jesus. That's why he was amazed at Jesus' silence, because he knew, what could anybody say to defend against lies? Nothing. We can't defend against that. What do you think led Pontius Pilate to choose against Jesus? As we read in the scripture, Mark tells us very clearly that the only reason why he chose against Jesus is because he wanted to please the crowds. He wanted to look good in front of them. So he did what they wanted Pilate to do with Jesus: crucify him.